Well, Martin Zubimendi closing in to agreeing a deal to join Arsenal. Looks like Arsenal have gone ahead to master the craft of really killing off the deal before they reach the summer, because they know they have competitors and they are trying to get this done and dusted. David Raya has come out and really spoken about the Dubai trip that Arsenal went ahead to have in the 2 weeks they obviously spent when they're not playing the game of football. Remember, they last played on the 7th of August and they played next on the 21st. That was, I think on the 20th. It was over the weekend where Arsenal went ahead to win that game of football by 5-0 against Crystal Palace. And lastly, we are going to talk about Tomiyasu having a very good fight against other teams in Asia. He has gone ahead to play some 88 minutes. That has gone ahead to see Japan go to the next level. Good morning, it's a Thursday. I hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. Rokani David is my name, and let's continue to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And Rokani David is my name. You can as well call me Aradi, and let's continue to obviously take this to the levels where you guys deserve it to be. Now, we started off with none other than a story coming in from Darius. These were the first people to obviously drop it. It is Darius, and he told us that Martin Zubimendi is very close to accepting Arsenal's transfer offer next summer. Barcelona have begun looking for other options in the midfield, meaning that Arsenal have gone ahead to really put their proposal on the table of Martin Zubimendi, and that is really something important to note if at all you're really a very good club. And if you're good at your job and you feel like you are in a better position to really get this player, agree a deal before the start of the summer transfer window, I think it's better you do it on time. Let me give you an example. When you look at a team like Manchester City, how do they get in Erling Haaland? They need to eat that. If they reach the summer of 2022 without agreeing a deal with Erling Haaland before, it was going to be very hard for them to get him. So what they did was, around March, they started everything. And towards the end of March 2022, a deal was agreed between Borussia Dortmund and Manchester City, and Erling Haaland became a player of Manchester City in March. And all the paperwork was signed, and what was left was to wait for the 15th, 16th of June to see if that deal was being made official by Manchester City. That is it. Then later, they went ahead to do the same thing onto the guy called Julian Alves. Julian Alves was a player that Ralf Rangnick scouted and wanted to take him to Russia. Or when he joined Man United, he told United to bring in Julian Alves, but United were hesitant because they saw him as an interim manager and was not very much trusted on doing the job. But what Man City did was to go to River Plate and told them that, all right, your buyout clause is 20 million euros. Let's pay this amount of money, and we are going to bring in Julian Alves in the summer. And Julian Alves too joined joined Manchester City in the summer of 2022 from River Plate. So Man City have shown us that they can do that, and even other teams like Chelsea, they did it on Nkunku. Nkunku's deal was agreed last year. So it was agreed in 2022 in September, and the medical was done, and his buyout clause was triggered by Chelsea for £60 million. That is Nkunku for you. So these are things that have been done on very many occasions, and they've gone ahead to pay off. So what Arsenal is trying to do is they learned from the competition they had when they're really signing Declan Rice from West Ham. Now, what they've gone ahead to do is they want to agree a deal of Zubimendi. And to agree a deal of any player with the club, you have to first obviously convince the player. And that's why they've told you that he's closing in on agreeing the Arsenal offer, meaning that Arsenal have gone ahead to obviously talk to his entourage, and they've gone ahead to submit their wages, as in weekly wages, their sign-on fee, the agent fees, the bonuses, image rights, and so on and so forth, because they know that for the side of Real Sociedad, it's very simple, as it's 60 million euros or 53 million pounds that Real Sociedad want in from Zubimendi. So Arsenal are trying to convince the player, and after convincing the player, the rest will be history. So they want to do this in a nick of time, and they want it to get done and dusted. That is Zubimendi for you. Then the other story comes in through from AS. They also added that very close to accepting an offer to join Arsenal in the summer on a pre-agreement. So the pre-agreement that will see Zubimendi join the side of Arsenal is really coming close. if he has gone ahead to close in to accept the terms and conditions being set by the side of Arsenal, then a pre-agreement will be reached. And remember that the former Real Madrid president came out and really blamed Florentino Perez for not having a pre-agreement with Kylian Mbappe, having gone ahead to convince him to join Real Madrid. So that pre-agreement was really required for Mbappe to sign it, to see that it doesn't really let down Real Madrid. But I think even Mbappe was right, because you need to eat that there was some good amount of money coming in through, and the president of France also contributed a lot for Kylian Mbappe not joining Real Madrid, because he called him and told him that he shouldn't be leaving Paris. That is it. So Zubimendi to Arsenal is a very huge deal that we might see get approved as soon as possible. But Zubimendi plays for Real Sociedad, 23, 24 years of age, Spanish international. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich and other teams are really interested in Zubimendi. Martin, very good player. I've seen him several times play for Real Sociedad, even last season when he was playing for the club of Sociedad as they played Man United at Old Trafford. I really saw him do the needful. Then, after that, we go to the other story coming in from the Asia Cup, and Takahiro Tomiyasu played 82 minutes as Japan won 3-1 against Indonesia to progress to the knockout stages of the Asian Cup. Tomiyasu is set to miss Arsenal's game against Nottingham Forest due to his international commitments. Now, this is good news, and all what Arsenal fans should be praying for is this guy to return when he's fully fit. When he's fully fit. We know to it that Arsenal is playing Nottingham Forest next week. That is, I think, on Tuesday. And then they'll be hosting Liverpool. And I really believe they're not going to be having Tomiyasu back as soon as possible. All they're going to be having is simple: Zinchenko, Jakub Kivio. That is it. But it's not gonna work out as they want it to be. But it's good to see that this man is really putting in a shift and really playing 88 minutes. Because when he left Arsenal, he was this kind of player who was really returning from injury. And I think he only played like 45 minutes. Arsenal, were they playing Fulham, I think? Yeah, they were playing Fulham. That's when he last kicked the ball for the side of Arsenal. And he missed out on the game of Liverpool in the FA Cup that saw Liverpool knock out Arsenal by 2-0. And there he comes to represent the side of Japan. So he's trying to obviously represent Arsenal there and represent for his national team. And I have no problem with him. He's a very cool guy that obviously puts in a shift that everyone really admires. So that is Takahiro Tomiyasu, and he'll return when this fixture or when this is done. But remember, it's really going to be hard for him, because Arsenal might need him as soon as possible, but Japan will also need him, and Japan might play throughout to the final, and they might play a final with South Korea, and that means after the 14th, that's when he'll be returning to the side of Arsenal. That is Takahiro Tomiyasu. So let's go to David Raya and what he said about the Dubai trip. He said, it was a good break. It was a good way to reconnect with the players and the staff, and a good way to train. We trained really, really hard, and we focused on the things that we have to improve on. That is coming in through from David Raya. And for me, David Raya is really on point because he needs this. And he returned, and no sooner had he returned, he went ahead to obviously keep a clean sheet. You get? He went ahead to keep a clean sheet. And after keeping a clean sheet, he really sent a message to everyone that maybe he's that player that Arsenal will need forever and ever and ever. And the result have gone ahead obviously scout that Brentford have gone ahead obviously put in I'll get in a replacement for him, and I think I'm gonna come and really present it to you here onto the Rokani Media Football. So that is all about David Raya, but I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about Zubimendi closing in on Arsenal. You know, all Arsenal closing in on a pre-agreement with Zubimendi before the summer transfer window, and we know why they are doing it, because Zubimendi is going to be a hot asset and he has a buyout clause. And when a player has a buyout clause, Arsenal have experience huge about it. For example, when they're obviously signing Mukalo Modric, he never had a buyout clause, but they set what we call a standard price. They said he will only go for 100 million euros, or 86 million pounds. And Arsenal first went ahead to make a bid of 50 million pounds. It was rejected. They went ahead to make 65 million pounds bid. It was rejected. 75, it was rejected. And by the time they came up to the right bid that the side of Shakhtar Donetsk wanted, Chelsea had already gone ahead to knock on the door, and they went ahead to make better promises. So right now, Arsenal trying not to fall a victim again of their past doings. And I like them. I like that. I like Arsenal people who conduct transfers a lot because of what they are going to do. They believe that they should be getting this player, and there is no way the player is not gonna really get to the where they deserve to be. And I think it's really gonna really cause a lot of happiness amongst Arsenal fans that this deal is obviously closing in, and it's gonna be Zubimendi, Martin Zubimendi. One will ask, Rokani, where does Zubimendi play? Zubimendi plays as can play as a number 6, a deep playing. It's like he can play as a number 6 who shields the back 4, and he can play as a box-to-box midfielder. And you know to it that Arsenal are really having a problem that there are teams that are in for Jorginho and there are teams that are in for Thomas Partey. And it looks like for Jorginho, they're not going to trigger his contract and he might leave out on a free. Then for Thomas Partey, there are teams that are really willing to cash in. And when they cash in, a lot of money will obviously be gotten. And it depends on what Arsenal are really willing to do, because Zubimendi coming in through means that there is a midfielder leaving in the summer transfer window from Arsenal. And that might be either Thomas Partey or Jorginho. But highly, it's going to be Thomas Partey. We know why it's going to be Thomas Partey, because he's an injury-prone player and he's not readily available when he's needed. And I think if Mikel Arteta is wise, he will obviously make a decision of really keeping Jorginho and let Thomas Partey go. Why? Thomas Partey gets you more money that you can use to really get in more numbers and players. Then Martin Zubimendi can come in through and obviously play that role in that midfield very well. But Zubimendi has to be convinced by Mikel Arteta that he's going to be played into the first team of Arsenal, because Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Odegaard, that midfield 3, how is it going to operate if at all Zubimendi comes in through? Because when Declan Rice came in through, Thomas Partey was thrown under the bus and was played as a right back, a position that he doesn't really love. So for Zubimendi, we don't know what and where he's going to be played at by Mikel Arteta. But we leave it at that. But Arteta is an admirer of Zubimendi, and as I told you that, he has gone ahead to bring in Brazilians, English players, and very many other kind of players, the Dutch, you know. Now it looks like the chance has come up through for Arsenal to start signing what we call Spanish players. David Raya came in through, first Spaniard to be signed by Mikel Arteta, and we are waiting for a player called, what have I been saying? I talked about Zubimendi being a Spanish player that could become the second Spanish player to be signed by Mikel Arteta. Your thoughts on everything we're going to talk about are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later.